What is up, guys? Coach Chad here. Welcome back to my freaking YouTube channel. Now, today isn't going to be much of a vlog, but I do want to tell you guys a really fucking kick-ass story. A story that, one, is going to inspire you, two, if you're going through a hard time, should uplift you, and three, is going to teach you a shit ton about patience and perseverance. So, before we dive in, hanging out up here, you know, if you guys watch my vlogs, you know where I'm at. I'm upstairs at our apartment. We got this little complex thing up here where you can hang out and whatnot. But anyways, let's dive in. So, once again, this is the story of how I built my business over a course of 4 years to a $0 a year business to now we're estimating right around 300K for this year. So, this is how I did it, okay? So how did I get into online coaching? How did I say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna become an online fitness coach. It's actually really funny. So I have loved fitness for the longest time. Now, I started working out roughly around the age of 15. I'm gonna preface how I grew my business with how I got into fitness because I think that's important to tell. When I was younger, the only thing I was really good at was lacrosse. The only thing I could really hang my hat on and say, hey, you know what, I'm good at something, is lacrosse. I sucked at school. Teachers from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade told me that I wasn't gonna make it through high school, that I don't even belong in the school district. And I almost failed out of 8th grade too. They told me that I need to repeat the 8th grade because how bad my grades were. I was not good at school. I was a pretty troubled kid. I got in trouble a lot. But the one thing I was good at was lacrosse. Now, come to 8th grade, and I was the only lacrosse goalie in our town too, right? So I played lacrosse, I was a lacrosse goalie. I got to start every single year. I got to start from when I started in 4th grade all the way up until 7th grade. Now, 8th grade, another kid decided that he was going to play goalie. So now there's two goalies. There's me and this other kid. And during tryouts, we were going back and forth. It was really even. And unfortunately, they took him on the A team, and then I had to play on the B team, which is technically the worst team. So I no longer was the best goalie in town. And this really hit me hard. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I no longer have that thing that I can hang my hat on and say, hey, you know what, I'm really good at that thing, which it used to be lacrosse, but because I got that taken away from me, I felt really depressed. I can remember sitting in my living room, getting the email saying, hey, Chad, you're gonna be on the B team, looking over at my parents next to me. They were sitting on the couch and starting to cry and say I didn't make the B team. And in that moment, I knew that I needed to get better. I didn't know how I was gonna get better, but I knew that I had to get better. So what I did is I started researching online how to become a better lacrosse goalie, how to improve my skills. And the feedback that I kept getting from the internet was, you gotta get faster, you gotta get stronger, and you gotta put on more muscle. So prior to this, I had no experience with weightlifting, no experience with anything physically fit. I mean, as a lacrosse goalie, you do not have to be physically fit to be good. You could freaking just sit in the net, have really good hand-eye coordination, and be good at the sport. My dad was right around, I don't know, like 250, 260, maybe 280 pounds at the time, so he wasn't a big beacon of health and fitness for me. My mom wasn't really into fitness, so I didn't really have an influence as far as being healthy and fit, but I knew that I had to get really strong and really fast if I wanted to get better at the position that I wanted to play. So I can remember every day after school I would come home, and it was really cool. I love that my dad did this. But I can remember telling my dad that I wanted to get back on the A team, and I can remember him bringing home an old pair of dumbbells from my uncle. I can remember him getting me an agility ladder and a jump rope. And I took these tools and I started running with them. I started coming home, I started figuring out, okay, this is what I gotta do with the agility ladder, this is what I gotta do with the dumbbells, this is what I gotta do with the jump rope, and I self-taught myself on how to be healthy and fit. I taught myself how to use that agility ladder, how to use the jump rope, and how to use the dumbbells to my advantage, so then I could become better at becoming a lacrosse goalie. So I'm very grateful. I know my dad watches my videos, so Dad, I'm grateful for you that you did that for me, because if you didn't do that for me, I would have not gotten into health and fitness, and I would have not been in the position I am today. So Dad, I'm grateful for that. Now, moving forward, I taught myself every single day. I would come home and I would practice and I would practice and I would practice getting healthier and fit. I would go for runs. I would do push-ups in addition to using the 3 tools that I had. And I started falling in love with training. And after years and years of playing lacrosse, I got to play a couple years in college before I stopped playing lacrosse and moved into fitness full time. But every year that I would prepare for lacrosse season, I found myself loving the training in the off season more than I actually liked playing the sport. And like I said, every year that I would play lacrosse, that's what I learned. I learned, wow, I missed the off season. Or I would find myself saying mid-season, wow, I can't wait for the off-season, because I loved training. I loved working out. I loved getting better. I loved preparing more than I actually liked playing, which is like really weird and really rare to say, but it's true. So after 2 years of playing college lacrosse, I said, hey, you know what? I'm not really in love with the sport anymore, and I want to move into health and fitness full time. So I moved into health and fitness, and I got a 4-year degree in exercise science, and that's what I pursued. Now, how did I get into online fitness coaching? Because when I was pursuing my exercise science degree, I did not want to do online fitness coaching. I didn't even know what it was. At the time, I just wanted to be either a strength and conditioning coach for a sports team. I think my ultimate goal was to be a strength and conditioning coach for the New York Giants, which is my favorite NFL and sports team, and they still are today. And I can remember saying that I just wanted to be like a personal trainer. I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. I had a whole bunch of different thought processes on what I wanted to do as far as the physical fitness realm. But online coaching was not on my radar. So during college, I went to 4 different colleges within 5 years. First college, I was trying to become a business major. Second college, then I was trying to become the exercise science major. Third college, exercise science major. And then the fourth college, which I graduated at, also exercise science major. But the important part of this part of the story is when I went to that fourth and final college, I reconnected with my high school girlfriend, Caitlin. Now, Caitlin is the person that introduced me into online fitness coaching. This is where shit gets really cool. So I can remember her coming to my house one night when I transferred over to my fourth and final college, which happened to be the same college that she went to, and that's how we got reconnected. So she came over. She came downstairs. She told me she needed to show me this guy named Christian Guzman. So she pulls up YouTube, she pulls up Christian Guzman, we start watching these vlogs, and I'm just like, what is this? This is so stupid. Because at the time, I was doing part-time personal training. I was also a part-time server at that, in that time of my life. And I was like, online fitness coaching, this is the stupidest thing ever. Because this guy was coming up on YouTube, she was showing me these YouTube videos, he was coaching people online, he was making tons of money doing it, he was making tons of money filming his workouts on YouTube, and I was just like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Like, how can you help somebody by training them online? And I was really apprehensive to it, and I would tell her this. I was like, this is dumb. Like, why are you showing me this? And she was like, oh, you're going to like this guy. And I can remember it was time for her to leave, so I walked her out to her car, and then I came back downstairs, and Christian Guzman was still on the TV. I'd never actually turned it off. So I sat down, and next thing I know, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, still watching Christian Guzman, and that's when I had the idea pop in my head. I said, within the next 3 months, I'm going to become a full-time online fitness coach. I laugh now because those 3 months that I said I was going to go full-time really took me about 3 to 3.5 years to get to that full-time level. Now, this is where the grind, this is where the anxiety, this is where the stress, this is where the pressure came in. So during those 3 years that I said that I was going to become a full-time online fitness coach, I was extremely egotistical. I was not open to I was very stubborn too. I was not open to receiving advice from anybody. I thought, okay, I know how to do this. I don't need to receive advice from anybody. I'll figure this out on my own, and I can pound my chest at the end when I build this business and say that I built it on my own. I really wanted to wear that pride and that ego on my sleeve. Well, because of that, it actually stalled me from making any progress. Throughout those 3 years, I'd maybe get the occasional client, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was wasting so much of my time on things that didn't matter. I was posting across the board on Twitter, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook, on email, you name it, I was doing it. And it wasn't serving me at all. It wasn't serving me the slightest because I didn't have any direction. I didn't have any focus. I was just trying all these different things but getting no results. I can remember in particular I had this one idea which I called the 30-day no BS detox, which I was going to teach people how to really detox and not just do some bullshit detox, but I didn't have any money to actually pay for somebody to help me create the program. Now, not create the program because I wrote all the workouts, I wrote all the information. I was talking about making it like a pretty PDF so I could sell it. So what I did was I took all of my parents' water bottles and I dispensed them in a water bottle dispensing machine to get enough money back to hire somebody off of a website called Fiverr, which people do work and labor for very, very cheap prices. And I did it, and he helped me build the program, and it sold 0 times. So I made no money off of it. And then I was like, then after that, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I need help. I need help with this. And this was right around year 2.5, year 2.5, where I decided, you know what, I can't do this on my own. I don't know how to do this on my own. So let me get some help. So I found this guy named Lund. He was posting all the different success of his successes from his clients, all like how much money they're making, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. This guy knows what he's doing. He's getting results for his clients. Let me join his program. So I get on the phone with him. He tells me his program is $6,000. Once again, at the time, I was a part-time in-person trainer and also a part-time waiter as well, and I did not have anything close to that money. $6,000 at that time seemed like $6 million, right? I was lucky at that time if I had like 20 bucks in my bank account. There's been plenty of times where I've been negative, and actually this decision put me negative $600 in the hole, and then I had debt collectors calling me, which was extremely stressful. But anyways, I digress. So coming back. So I get on the phone with him. He tells me it's $6,000. Now, me being really stubborn, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a way to make it work. He was like, okay, well, you need to put $2,000 down to join the program, and then for there it would be $2,000 a month to pay off your $6,000. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. So I start getting online, I start selling all this different shit. I start selling like my headphones, I start selling clothes, I start selling my lacrosse net. I start selling all these things to come up with the money so I can find that $2,000 to make that initial investment. Another crazy thing I did is on Christmas Eve, I went and I blew his leaves at his house to make a couple extra $100 so that I can once again put it in the pot towards making this payment. So long story short, I come up with the $2,000, I make the down payment, and I only got one client throughout the whole entire process. It was a 3-month program. I only got one client for $2,000, so I net lost $4,000 during that investment. So it was a complete loss. And that brought me back to the point of, wow, okay, I couldn't do it on my own. This coach didn't help me. So what's next for me? What was next for me is I got extremely stressed out, extremely depressed, extremely anxious, and I thought maybe this isn't the business that I should be doing. Maybe I should be doing something else. Maybe I should become a social media marketing agent or something like that. And then, luckily, my girlfriend Caitlin at the time said, no, what are you doing? Stick with this. Stick with this. It's going to work. So I stuck with it. Spent another 6 months trying to figure it out on my own and got 0 results again. So then this guy started commenting on all my posts, and his name is Griffin, and he started commenting on my posts, and I was like, who is this guy? And I noticed that he was a business coach for people that want to be fitness coaches, right? Want to have their own fitness coaching business. And I was like, okay. So I started watching his lives every night. I loved his energy. I was like, okay, this guy's really cool. Maybe I'll buy his program. So I got on the phone with one of his sales reps, and they actually have a two-call process for their sales process. They do an initial consultation call, and then from there, if you're a good fit, they move you on to a longer sales call, and then that's where they pitch you the program. I didn't even get to the second call. Once I got on the phone with him, I said, I'm ready. Let's do it. How much is it? I'm going to buy. And he told me the price. Once again, it was $6,000. Didn't have that money at the time, barely had maybe $500 in my account, but I took on more hours as a server, got the money, made the payment, put the $2,000 down, and long story short, 4 months after being in the program, I was an online fitness coach. I was a full-time online fitness coach. I had my first ever full-time month, and then this was right around the time that I graduated college as well, which was super cool. So the first month that I graduated college, instead of looking for a job, I had a full-time business. All because I didn't give up, all because I stuck it through, and all because I wasn't afraid to take chances and take risks on different investments that were going to lead to my success. And part of the reason why I was able to make these investments is because I was living at home with my parents. I didn't really have any expenses other than just normal living expenses, and this gave me the opportunity, the capital, and the time to be able to grow this business. So once again, I have to thank my parents for that, because if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have this business. If I didn't have that time, if I didn't have that freedom, if I didn't have that flexibility that my parents gave me from a financial standpoint, or that they didn't make me pay rent, they didn't make me pay for my phone bill, and so on and so forth, that allowed me the freedom to create this business. So after the 4 months of being in the program, putting in the work, literally I just said, okay, like, this is the reason why I had success in this program versus the last program, is I took my ego and I threw it aside. In the first program, I wasn't really coachable. In this second program, I was extremely coachable. I said, whatever this guy tells me to do, I'm gonna stick it through. And I even had some triumphs within this program. So like I said, it took me full months to get to a full-time earning while joining this program. Now, in the first couple months when I wasn't having success and I was trying to charge higher level prices for coaching, I can remember my parents saying, well, why don't you charge lower? Why don't you charge lower? And people were telling me, well, why don't you charge lower? And I was like, no, this is gonna work. Like, I know my value, like I know my worth, like I'm going to charge these prices and they're going to work. And that stubbornness paid off, but it took me that 4 months to get it paid off. So guys, biggest takeaways here: don't sell yourself short, don't quit too early, and stick it fucking through. It took me 4 years to get to a full-time income, 4 years to reap the benefits of being a full-time online coach, to reap the benefits of being able now to move to Austin, to reap the benefits to be able to have the financial freedom to do the things that I want. It took me 4 fucking years of trying thousands of different things, not giving up on myself, and continuing to push day in and day out to grow the business. So guys, that is the story of how I grew a full-time online fitness coaching business. If you guys have any questions on the ins and outs, any questions on any part of the story or anything at all, you can drop a comment down below and I'll be responding back to those comments. But once again, guys, if this inspired you, if you got anything, any sort of value from this story, please give this video a thumbs up, please share it out, and please make sure that you subscribe, because part of the reason that I'm starting to get back on YouTube now is because I'm so mad at myself that I didn't document the journey all the way through. I definitely documented all the horrible times, and you guys can go back and watch those videos. And by horrible times, I mean just the times that I was struggling and wasn't getting any success from my business. My life is not horrible. I haven't had any traumatic or horrible experiences, but I have had a lot of triumphs. I have had a lot of challenges in my life as far as growing this business and being successful at it. And I did document all of the hard times, but I didn't document the process of when I transitioned from the hard times to the good times. And now I'm getting back on here to document more of my growth, because it doesn't end here. Growth never ends. Growth is never just something where you just stop, because if you stop, guess what? It's basically like dying, right? If you stop growing, you're basically dying at that point. So I will continue to grow. I will continue to grow this business. I will continue to document that for you guys so that you can see and be inspired by this journey. So once again, if you enjoyed, guys, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, leave a comment, greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week in the next video. Health, wealth, and prosperity. Peace.